Hello my friends and welcome back. Thank you very much for being with me again today. This article comes to exemplify a statement that the German, I think he's the chief of armed forces, I can't remember his name, is Zun with a Z, that he made about 2 months ago almost. I made a video on that where he said that Russia will not run out of ammunition anytime soon, referring to rockets and missiles and anything else they got over there, projectiles, not bullets. So that contradicted the British intelligence, the American intelligence, and the Ukrainian intelligence, who said that, yeah, they're almost done. The Russians have been done, quote unquote, since maybe March or April already, but they still send them. So this article here gives us another example that Russians still have them, be it from the Soviet times or after Soviet times, but they still do the job, if you know what I mean. They still cause destruction, and if the Russians want, they can carpet bomb the entire Ukraine in one day. They have the capability. I have no doubt about it, and I tell you why. Remember the Second World War. You can compare the Second World War with its production in 2 years, basically 43 to 45, not even 45, half of 45, not even 45. So let's put it 42 to 45, mid 45. All those rockets that they have, the Katyushas, remember them? And not only. They had hundreds of those in 2 years with the Lend-Lease and with the help of the Allies. Remember the communists were allies with the capitalists against other capitalists slash socialists? After all, it was the National Socialist Workers' Party, Nazi, right? So when they say it's a right, extreme right party, no, it's not. Look at its name. It's like you say, well, and Antifa, look at its name. It's anti-fascism. The same year. National Socialist Workers' Party. That is Nazi. That's what it is. So you tell me, is left or right? What do you think? Just by going by name. And if you don't believe me, go and look and read their platform, the 25 points, and you figure out. And look at their economic platform. There's all socially oriented. But anyway, so let's move on here with these guys talking about the ability. The Russians, the Soviets, I'm sorry, had the capability in 2 years then, with the production then. Remember, they had from 46 until 2022, how many years they got? 80 years or so, ready to build what? Everything else they wanted. So you tell me that those guys in 2 years were able to overwhelm the Wehrmacht with T-34s and with Katyushas and all that, but these guys were not able to have millions of Grad rockets? Well, that's exactly what they're gonna use, Grad MLRS, to bombard the Nikopol. So Ukrainska Pravda, that's why these weasels, the Great Britain and US and Ukrainian intelligence, is just propaganda. The German, there was a military, he was not propaganda, he was not in that kind of business. And he said what he said, they're not gonna run out of, and he said they even can open another front if they want, talking about the Russians. They will have no problem supporting another front if they open another one somewhere, in Georgia, let's say, or... So Russians deploy Grad MLRSs and heavy artillery to shell Nikopol district overnight. This is per Ukrainska Pravda from October 28th, today, 2022. So basically these are intended to mop the floor with whatever's on the other side. So Russian occupation forces have been shelling the Nikopol, Marhanets and Chervonohrivka Hromadas in Dnipropetrovsk Oblast throughout the night of 27 per 28 of October. And he says that a hromada is an administrative unit designating a town, village, or several villages and their adjacent territories. The source is Valentin Reznichenko, head of the Dnipropetrovsk Oblast military administration. Quote, the Nikopol district sustained relentless attacks by Russian Grad multiple rocket launchers, MLRS, and heavy artillery throughout the night. 3 hromadas came under Russian fire. Nikopol, and I said the other 2, Nikopol, Marhanets, and Chervonohriohorivka. There were no casualties. What? You said that this sustained relentless attacks by those guys throughout the night, and you say there were no casualties. That's a lie, my friends. That's a lie. It's either or. It's either or. Reznichenko reported that a dozen apartment blocks and private houses were damaged in the city of Nikopol. The Russian attacks have fallen several felled several power lines. Several summer residences and power lines were damaged in the Chernokopa Hromada. Up to 1,000 households have been left without power. Engineers are working to restore power in the area. And I'm quoting again. The night was accompanied by the sounds of air raid sirens in other parts of the Dnipropetrovsk Oblast, but there was no shelling elsewhere, Reznichenko said. So yeah, you can't have like relentless bombardments throughout the night and have no casualties. Yeah, okay, got that one. That's one thing. The other one, these guys still have it. They have it, and that's the way it's gonna be. They're gonna keep the other side to a distance. Bam, bam, bam. Those guys bring more weapons from west. Bam, bam, bam. More weapons. Bam, bam, bam. And the other guys want to destroy the Russians as well. It's not the only Russians want to destroy the Ukrainian, U.S.-made and German-made and whatever Western-made weapons. That's the way it's gonna be. Until little by little, the Ukrainian population will be exterminated, and there will be nobody to push a button, use a joystick, maneuver something or anything like that. Done. And then what? Then what? Can't only the Americans and Poles and the French and the Brits fight in Ukraine anymore. They needed the Ukrainians as cover. Now they're gonna have what? They have to say, well, we have to because we ran out of guys to die for us. So I guess we gotta use ours. And they're gonna tell us for the benefit of the good and all this, and for us and for our children and our civilization, our our values and our rights and all that the Russians are hating, like Saddam. Remember the same story? They will build the strata of the population here that is very weak, and they will support it, and they're gonna send their children and our children over there to fight for something that some people will make some profit. Well, it happened before, it will happen again. I guarantee you. Why? Because we're human. And the same tactic was already applied a few times in the past 30 years. Not one time, a few times in the past 30 years. So what do you want? And the same pretext, countries were invaded, bombarded, destroyed, families blown up, economies destroyed, infrastructure. And then we decide, okay guys, we invested enough here from your money, the subcontractors, now it's time to go. Well, screw you, whatever happens, happens. You have oil, or you have only poppy? Okay, poppy seeds for heroin, that's good. Yes, I guess we got fentanyl now. We don't need poppy seeds for heroin. See ya, bye-bye. I'm talking about Afghanistan, of course. But it seems like Afghanistan has some big resources somewhere in the west. By the way, you know who took them? China. You can't make shit up, man. Anyway, thank you very much for being with me again today. Stay strong, stay smart, look for the truth, and be just.